Hello. In this video we continue on the trail of the hacker who, in October 2021, attacked the CreamFinance protocol and took possession of $136 million worth of cryptocurrency. In my last video, we learned that the hacker had proceeded to launder the funds. Also, we determined that the hacker, in order to launder funds, is using a gray exchange called TradeOgre, which gives its users access to trade on other major exchanges without going through kick verification. In this video, we take a look at the situation our independent investigation has led to, saying that someone on the TradeOgre exchange team is probably the hacker we are following, or someone on the TradeOgre exchange team is a possible accomplice of this hacker. But in order to state this for sure, some facts need to be confirmed. So as we know from my previous video, the hacker used Renproject to get Bitcoin. As a result, some of the Bitcoin went to the hacker's BTC address BC1Q58N8. As CreamFinance team members found out, this BTC address is on the TradeOgre exchange. This indirectly confirms that the TradeOgre BTC wallet, which includes over 167,000 BTC addresses, includes the BTC address BC1Q58N8. And, by the way, getting a bit ahead of myself, I want to note right away that in those days, when the hacker was selling Bitcoin, the TradeOgre exchange trading volumes increased 10 times, which indicates an abnormally active trading in those days. In particular, the highest trade volumes on TradeOgre exchanges in those days were observed in the Bitcoin-Monero trading pair. Consequently, we can assume that the hacker was selling Bitcoin and receiving Monero in return to make his next moves more confidential. As time has passed since my previous video was published, the hacker used Renproject again and received Bitcoin, but now to another BTC address BC1QXN95, which is not part of the common TradeOgre BTC address pool, and is an individual BTC address. The hacker address BC1Q58N8 made several direct transactions for the address BC1Q9C0R. Likewise, the relationship of address BC1Q58N8 with address BC1Q9C0R is observed when tracking several other roads and further movement in his Bitcoin transactions, which make their way through several other intermediate BTC addresses, also leading to the BC1Q9C0R address. The hacker's second BTC address, that is, address BC1QXN95, is also linked to address BC1Q9C0R by both direct transactions and via intermediate transactions. In turn, the address BC1Q9C0R received its activity in November 2021. During that time, this address received 373 incoming transactions and the same number of outgoing transactions. The address BC1Q9C0R is associated with 24 BTC addresses, which are located on other major exchanges, including such exchanges as Binance, OKEx, KuCoin, FTX, Kraken and other exchanges. Also, this address is linked to a lot of addresses that are located on TradeOgre exchanges. Based on the graphic of the BTC address BC1Q9C0R, this address often uses the services of the listed large exchanges, and using this BTC address, the hacker managed to launder some Bitcoin using these large exchanges. If you examine the incoming transactions for address BC1Q9C0R in more detail, you can see that all the BTC addresses that make deposits for address BC1Q9C0R are in the same BTC wallet, which consists of the 167,000 addresses on TradeOgre exchange. Only the hacker's second address BC1QXN95 is in a different wallet, which is an anomaly for incoming transactions for address BC1Q9C0R. Due to the fact that almost all BTC addresses that make deposits for address BC1Q9C0R are on TradeOgre exchange, it is safe to assume that this address most likely belongs to TradeOgre exchange. Most likely, the TradeOgre exchange uses this address to make Bitcoin sale transactions on 24 large exchanges when there is not enough money in the log of own orders on the TradeOgre exchange to make a Bitcoin sale transaction. In this case, the question arises, how did the second hacker address BC1QXN95 manage to make a Bitcoin exchange using the address BC1Q9C0R, from which he sent his Bitcoins to other large exchanges, such as Binance, OKEx, KuCoin, FTX, Kraken, and others, because in order to make a sanctioned outbound transaction at the BC1Q9C0R address, the hacker needed to have a private key from that address. As we understand it, the hacker does have access to the wallet that holds the BTC address BC1Q9C0R, and he can manage that wallet. If, in fact, the address BC1Q9C0R belongs to the TradeOgre exchange, it could mean that someone on the TradeOgre team is the hacker we are following. Another possibility, provided that the address BC1Q9C0R belongs to TradeOgre exchange, could be that TradeOgre exchange has somehow provided the hacker with some sort of VIP status by creating a dedicated address for the hacker and a wallet individual to the hacker, connecting this dedicated wallet to all TradeOgre exchange services, which in turn is an anomaly. In this case, the TradeOgre exchange is complicit with the hacker. We now know for sure that the address BC1Q9C0R is used by a hacker to launder Bitcoin. To avoid getting confused about TradeOgre's involvement in the CreamFinance protocol hack, you need to know the exact answer to whether the address BC1Q9C0R belongs to the TradeOgre exchange. For obvious reasons, TradeOgre has the right not to answer this question. But major exchanges such as Binance, OKEx, KuCoin, FTX, Kraken and others, which receive deposits from this address, surely know the answer to the question about the owner of the address BC1Q9C0R, because, unlike TradeOgre, which is fully confidential, these large exchanges require mandatory kick verification to exclude access of various hackers and fraudsters to exchange operations at these exchanges, and if necessary, to identify them. That is, these large exchanges must have documents that identify the owner of the address BC1Q9C0R, which will allow the hacker to be caught in the act. All of the detailed links that are needed to verify the information I have listed in this video are listed in the description to this video of mine. I will continue this independent investigation. To make sure you don't miss any new information I find as I continue this independent investigation of mine, subscribe to my channel. See you soon.